I'm not Mitch Connor, and assholes in suits in this fictional entity that we call government and give authority to do not represent me. So, they identified Jihadi John. The Washington Post reports. Wait, did they already do that? Oh, they did! Back on August 24th, 2014. He's a fucking British rapper. I don't know if you guys remember this bullshit article. Look at all these pictures of this fucking faggot bitch who had an affluent family. Anyway, remember the Beatles? They called him John because he was a part of a group of British jihadists who called themselves the Beatles. Thus, they lend me your ears with what's his face, John Cantley or Cantley. So, let's watch this Yahoo video real quick first. Oh. This video player is being a pain in the arse.
The ISIS militant known... Breaking news here. ABC News is reporting that U.S. authorities have identified the ISIS militant known as Jihadi John. He is the masked man seen on ISIS videos beheading hostages. ABC News says an intelligence source told them that the U.S. has confirmed the man's real name is Mohammed Emwazi, a Kuwaiti-born British man from a well-to-do family who grew up in West London and graduated from college with a degree in computer programming.
All right. Did you just see that
Friends
shit?
And family apparently helped to identify Emwazi.
Let's go back.
The man's real name is Mohammed Emwazi.
Look at his face.
British man from a
No,
family who grew up in
they're just
West
pasting
London
some
and graduated from college with a
crappy
degree in
computer imaging of
Friends
his
and family
face.
apparently helped to
They don't have a
identify
fucking
Emwazi.
picture?
He was believed to have
For
traveled
fuck's
to
sake,
Syria
they allegedly
in
apprehended him
2012
back in
and later joined
2010.
ISIS. Good morning,
I'll get to that,
America.
though.
This breaking news at 7 a.m.
So, the Islamic State killer is identified as Londoner Mohammed Emwazi. What a typical name, Mohammed. The world knows him as Jihadi John, the masked man with a British accent who has beheaded several hostages held by the Islamic State and who taunts audiences in videos circulated widely online. Not exactly widely. At least not the full versions, which are so ludicrously fake that any idiot should be able to see that. But his real name, according to friends and others familiar with his case, is Mohammed Emwazi, a Briton from a well-to-do family who grew up in West London and graduated from college with a degree in computer programming. I'm betting they're going to use that as an excuse for the movie likeness of the videos. He is believed to have traveled to Syria around 2012 and later joined the Islamic State, the group whose barbarity he had come to symbolize. I have no doubt that Mohammed is Jihadi John, said one of Emwazi's close friends who identified him in an interview with the Washington Post. He was like a brother to me. I'm sure it is him. Bullshit. Where is this guy? Fucking provide the documentation, okay? They can't even provide a picture, so you know they're not going to fucking do that. A representative of a British human rights group who has been in contact with Emwazi before he left for Syria also said he believed Emwazi was Jihadi John. Moniker given to him by some of the hostages he once held. Yeah. There was an extremely... Where's Ringo and fucking George, by the way? Or was it... no, it was John and Paul. Well, where's Ringo and Paul? Because it was John and George that they dubbed two guys. And whatever happened to George? We never really saw anything of him. I don't know, maybe that English-speaking guy in the last stupid video of the 21 Coptic Christians in Egypt was George, but they never called him that. Because they're just making this shit up. It was the fucking media that made it up. Authorities have used a variety of investigative techniques, including voice analysis and interviews with former hostages to try to identify Jihadi John. James B. Comey, the lying director of the FBI, said in September, only a month after the Briton was seen in a video killing American journalist James Foley, which wasn't even James Foley, by the way, that officials believed they had succeeded. Nevertheless, the identity of Jihadi John had remained shrouded in secrecy. Since Foley's killing, he has appeared in a series of videos documenting the gruesome killings of other hostages, including 4 other Westerners, some of whom he personally beheaded, even though there's no proof of that whatsoever. Not to mention no proof, because the fucking pictures are fucking photoshopped. In each, he is dressed in all black, a balaclava, covering all but his eyes and the ridge of his nose. He wears a holster under his left arm. He's scary. The description says he's scary. A spokesman for the British Embassy in Washington said, "Our Prime Minister has been clear that we want all those who have committed murder on behalf of ISIL, I thought it was ISIL, they can't get the name right, to face justice for appalling acts carried out. There is an ongoing police investigation into the murder of hostages by ISIL in Syria. It is not appropriate for the government to comment on any part of it while this continues." ISIL is another name for it. It's got a bunch of aliases, just like all these fucking, government intelligence agents. U.S. officials declined to comment for this report, and Emwazi's family declined a request for an interview, citing legal advice. Sure. The Kuwaiti-born Emwazi in his mid-20s appears to have left little trail on social media or elsewhere online. Those who knew him say he was polite and had a penchant for wearing stylish clothes while adhering to the tenets of his Islamic faith. I don't think that's adhering to the tenets of his Islamic faith if he's wearing stylish clothes. He had a beard and was mindful of making eye contact with women, friends said. Once again, not adhering to the tenets of his Islamic faith. See, that the reason why women are covered in Islam even connects to the Bible. They do claim to be an Abrahamic religion, okay? And in the Bible itself, it says to look lustfully at a woman is adultery, okay? So he's mindful of making eye contact with women, thus he's breaking that tenet, okay? He's not adhering to it. But they throw these contradictions in your face, and most people don't even notice. He was raised in a middle-class neighborhood in London, and on occasion prayed at a mosque in Greenwich. The friends who spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the investigation believe that Emwazi started to radicalize after a planned safari in Tanzania, following his graduation from the University of Westminster. He and two friends, a German convert to Islam named Omar and another man, Abu Talib, never made it on the trip. Once they landed in Dar es Salaam in May 2009, they were detained by police and held overnight. It's unclear whether the reason for the detention was made clear to the three, but they were eventually deported. He flew to Amsterdam, where he claimed that an officer from MI5, Britain's domestic security agency, accused him of trying to reach Somalia, where the militant group Shabab operates in the southern part of the country, according to emails that he sent to Qureshi and that were provided to the Post. And here's one of the more important parts. Emwazi denied the accusation and claimed that MI5 representatives have tried to recruit him. But a former hostage said Jihadi John was obsessed with Somalia and made his captives watch videos about al-Shabaab, which is allied with al-Qaeda. The episode was described in The Independent, a British newspaper. There's a link right here, by the way, where I'm highlighting, which identified Emwazi as Mohammed ibn Muazzam. Okay, here's that article. By the way, in this article, they do not... Why is this not moving? They do not reverse. This is not him. Okay. This is some other guy. You can click on it. It'll show his name. I'm not going to do that because this is not working the best right here. As you can see, it's kind of freezing up on me. It's bullshit. This is that guy they're talking about. But there's no reverse identification, okay? So they're probably just making this up. But even still, let's say they're not. Okay, he has aliases. Who has aliases in this world but maybe people who change their name to get away from a stalker or government intelligence agents, okay? Anyway, by the way, the London Independent article it linked to is from May 1st, 2010. Anyway, Emwazi and his friends were allowed to return to Britain, where he met with Qureshi in the fall of 2009 to discuss what had happened. Mohammed was quite incensed by his treatment, that he had been treated unfairly. Shortly afterwards, Emwazi decided to move to his birthplace, Kuwait, where he landed a job working for a computer company. According to the emails he wrote to Qureshi, in the internet age, you should be able to prove it, you know, if you're going to claim this shit. Screenshots, for fuck's sake, you know. At least provide screenshots, you know. Prove your fucking case. Because, you know, these fucking news reporters don't do a good job of that. And there's so much ability to do that these days that... And not that they can't forge that shit too, but anyway, June 2010. Sorry, I got a cold. Anyway, in June 2010, counterterrorism officials in Britain detained him again, this time fingerprinting him and searching his belongings. When he tried to fly back to Kuwait the next day, he was prevented from doing so. I had a job waiting for me and a marriage to get started, he wrote in June 2010, and another email that they could prove. But now I feel like a prisoner, only not in a cage in London. Prisoner imprisoned and controlled by security servicemen, stopping me from living my new life in my birthplace and country, Kuwait. Yeah, emotional backstory. Nearly 4 months later, when a court in New York sentenced Afia Siddiqui, an al-Qaeda operative convicted for the attempted murder of U.S. personnel in Afghanistan, Emwazi expressed sympathy for her, saying he had heard the upsetting news regarding our sister. This should only keep us firmer towards fighting for freedom and justice. Yeah. In the interview, Qureshi said he last heard from Emwazi in January 2012. This is a young man who is ready to exhaust every single kind of avenue within the machinery of the state to bring a change for his personal situation. In the end, he felt actions were taken to criminalize him and he had no way to do something against these actions. No, he was fucking recruited, probably is more like it. Close friends of Emwazi's also said his situation in London had made him desperate to leave the country. It's unclear exactly when he reached Syria or how. So they know all this other shit about him, but they don't know how the fuck he reached Syria? Sure. One said after fucking getting like fingerprints and all that shit, and oh my god. Yeah, believe this shit. One Fred said he believed Emwazi wanted to travel to Saudi Arabia to teach English in 2012, but was unsuccessful. Soon afterward, the friend said he was gone. He was upset and wanted to start a life elsewhere. He at some stage reached the point where he was really just trying to find another way to get out. Once in Syria, he contacted his family and at least one of his friends. It's unclear what he told them about his activities there. A former hostage who was debriefed by officials upon release said that Jihadi John was part of a team guarding Western captives at a prison in Idlib, Syria in 2013. The hostages nicknamed the facility the Box. Emwazi was joined by 2 other men with British accents, including one who was dubbed George. Former hostage said Emwazi participated in the waterboarding of 4 Western hostages. Why would they dub them the fucking Beatles? Come on. To sell you a fucking story. It's fake as fuck. Former hostages described George as the leader of the trio. Jihadi John, they said, was quiet and intelligent. He was the most deliberate. Okay, why don't we see anything about George then once again? Because it's fake. Beginning in early 2014, the hostages were moved to a prison in the Syria city of Raqqa, the Islamic State's de facto capital, where they were visited often by the trio. The trio. Weren't there 4 Beatles? Anyway. They appeared to have taken on more powerful roles within the Islamic State. About the same time, Qureshi said he sent an email to Emwazi. I was wondering if you could send me your number, he wrote. Inshallah, God willing, it will be good to catch up. There was no response. And there's a second article in this same one. Some quick points for the second article, though. Authorities have used a variety of investigative techniques, including voice analysis and interviews with former hostages. What former hostages? I thought they were all dead. To try to identify Jihadi John. James B. Comey, the director of the FBI, said in September, only a month after Britain was seen in a video killing American journalist James Foley, that officials believed they had succeeded. They don't mention anything about that. The British rapper, this guy, fucking Christ, liar. Nevertheless, the identity of Jihadi John had remained shrouded in secrecy since Foley's fake killing. It wasn't even Foley. He appeared in a series of videos documenting the gruesome killings of other hostages, including 4 other Westerners, some of whom he personally beheaded. If you think I'm bullshitting on Foley, I think it's titled Real James Foley, Please Stand Up on my channel. Maybe I'll leave the link in the description and you can compare the 2 fucking faces. Or just look up his fucking face, because it's not the same guy. All the rest of the article is just a rehashing of the first article on the same Washington Post link. But I think this headline's funny. Islamic State and its war against history. Even though I'm sure about it, it's about them destroying relics, allegedly, historical relics and shit. I would... why I find that funny, I guess, is simply because this is revisionist history in motion, okay, where they're making it up. They're flat out making it up as they go. It's fake. Have a great day.